I'm Nan Simonson. I am the author of Aging Powerfully. At 71, I am on a mission to spread the word that un- unlike what appears to be the natural trend of physiology, that we start falling apart in our 50s and it simply goes downhill from there, that is not true. If we accept the fact that through lifestyle modifications, we can go on and on and on into our 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, just like they do on the blue zones, by living like they do in the blue zones. What do? They move regularly, they get plenty of sleep, they have ways of de stressing, they are bound by community, and they eat a whole food, plant based diet. I've done the same for 3 years now, going on 4 years. I'm a lifestyle and health coach, and I help people see that they can turn their health around when in dire straits, and we see the results of that all the time. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm in my red. I don't know that you can see it. This sweater is covered with little hearts, and I'm here to celebrate the day with chocolate, but also to offer you a way of having that chocolate that isn't going to destroy your health in one fell swoop. Now, no individual food in small amounts is going to destroy your health. As a matter of fact, if you live healthy and well 90% of the time, and let's say 95, and 5% of the time you're off rails, you're going to be okay. However, the more you take care of yourself on a daily basis, on a regular basis, the more you feed yourself the foods that love you back. Fall in love with those foods, and they love you back. Whole foods that are plant based. Those are greens and vegetables and tubers like sweet potatoes and potatoes of all kinds and beans, every kind you can get your hands on, and seeds and nuts. You can fill every meal with whole foods that are plant based. What do I mean by whole foods? Somebody asked me today about a smoothie that she has been using, not a smoothie, a processed, very impressive list of ingredients that make up a meal replacement. Well, nothing makes up for real whole food that you can put on a counter that's going to rot in a couple of days because it's a living thing full of enzymes. So, whole food, as close to nature as you can possibly get it, is going to do a couple of things for you. It's going to train your taste buds to love real food, because we have to neuro adapt when we're used to having the foods that light up our brains, shoot off the dopamine, and make us want more again and again and again. That's processed foods. They own us when they get us hooked on that, because, like anything that makes us want more, the processed food industry was purchased by the tobacco industry. They know what to do and how to do it. The more of that we have, the harder it is to adapt to real foods. As I say, an apple is going to be ignored if you're used to apple fritters. But if you eat none of the processed foods, and you can train yourself away from that, and you eat whole foods, those foods taste like heaven. Well, all of that to say, and we're going to make a cake today, a chocolate cake, a delicious chocolate cake, but it is a whole food chocolate cake, minimally processed, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to, first of all, remind you that on Valentine's Day, there's this Cupid that's shooting arrows into people, creating, the emotions of love. It is promoted as a outward love of the fella toward the girl, or the woman toward the man, or the coupling of people. But I want to say that the most important person you can love is yourself. If you can love yourself, you can love others. If you don't love yourself, you're constantly picking on yourself, you're constantly criticizing yourself. It's very hard to express love outwardly because you are too insinuated with those feelings of inferiority and disgust and anger at the person that you should love the most, at any size, in any way. Am I saying that weight and size and um, BMI doesn't matter? Well, statistics show that they do. The healthiest people, and we saw that through COVID, are the people that are within a normal health range, weight wise. Does that mean that you should beat yourself up and recriminate to yourself on a regular basis? Heck no. Love yourself enough to put yourself in a position where it becomes easier to adopt lifestyle modifications that can make a difference. Consider reading Aging Powerfully. The word powerfully is an acronym for 10 lifestyle modalities that help you live your healthiest life, evidence-based. I didn't make this stuff up. And it can help you step by step learn how to care for yourself in a way that you will be stronger, that you will have a stronger immune system, that the antioxidants you eat on a regular basis, a daily basis, will help you fight diseases. And at, again, 71, having begun a plant-based diet more than 3 years ago, I can't remember a time I had a cold. I know I haven't had the flu, and I'm stronger and more well than I was before I began 3 years ago, because I was at doctors being told the only way that I would do well going forward was with medication and procedures, and I said no. Pills and procedures aren't the black hole that I'm going to dive into. I'm going to do this with diet and health, and that's what's happened. So let's talk about this cake we're celebrating Valentine's with, as if I'm ignoring everything that I'm saying. I'm not. I'm going to tell you who originated this recipe. Muriel, oh gosh darn, Muriel Benakissa. Muriel Benakissa, MurielBenakikkissa.com. It's inspired from her recipe that I adopted last year to celebrate my 70th birthday, and I made it recently for some friends and remembered what a great treat it was. One recipe fed my husband and I for 2 nights, meaning 4 servings out of this one. So don't feel that because you make it in a cup in a minute that it's something you need to polish off. Quite frankly, even though all the sweets that I have on my website, go find me, nansimonson.com, and this recipe, nansimonson.com, under recipes, under desserts. It's cake in a cup. I'm not saying that I wouldn't eat sweets, but what I do know is the more sweets I have, because this is ancestrally what we were adapted to. The sweeter the food, the more ripe it usually was, the higher the caloric density, the more we wanted. It kept us alive. Well, we don't need to be kept alive that way anymore. It doesn't work that way anymore. Unfortunately, all the foods that are processed have more of the things that are going to light us up to want more: salt, oil, sugar, any combination of those, any of those on their own in high quantities make us want more. So I don't have these things on a daily basis. Why would I want to? I like the flavor of an apple, a blueberry, a raspberry, a blackberry, of plain oatmeal without any sweetening in it. And you will too. You learn to neuroadapt and you adore your meals. You adore your salads. Okay, let's get to the ingredients. So this chocolate cake in a cup, it's double chocolate cake in a cup, and you'll see what I mean. First of all, has oats in it. Can we see the oats? Yeah, just plain oatmeal, but that oatmeal in my blender is turned into oat. Can we see it? See it? See it? Yes. Oat flour. I put it in my high-speed blender, my Vitamix, turned it into flour. Now, does that mean it is as healthy as these oats? No. Structurally, the more the fiber is broken down, the more quickly it goes into our bloodstream without the infringement of all that fiber being attached to it, and the more quickly it raises our insulin levels, our blood sugar and our insulin. So the closer to nature, the better. But for this dessert, we still have a whole food. Processed, but minimally processed whole food. I add to that some almond flour. Now this has been put into a freezer bag, but it's Bob's Red Mill almond flour. What is that? That's just almonds, and these obviously have the skins on it because they have the brown bits. Almonds ground up. So I have some oats, I have some almond, I have, some people say the culprit, cocoa. No, it's not a culprit. This happens to be organic fermented. It didn't have to be fermented. You can get cocoa powder organic at Trader Joe's. And the cocoa powder, I'd like to remind you or tell you if you don't know, 1 tablespoon of this and a tablespoon and a couple of little teaspoons go into each cup of cake is only 20 calories. There is, let's see, there is a 1/2 gram of fat in 1 tablespoon of this. So this isn't chocolate. Chocolate has the butter fat with it, and most chocolates have a lot of sugar. But this is the flavor that's going to give our chocolate cake that rich chocolatey flavor. What do I use for sweetness? I could have used maple syrup, or I could use date paste. I happen to, when I do anything sweet, I use date paste. That means that I take, and you can find this on nansimonson.com under miscellaneous, and I use Tammy of Nutmeg Notebooks recipe. I recommend that you go and look if you're interested in adding more and more and more plant-based meals to your diet, because every one of them lights up your body with nourishment, phytonutrients, phytochemicals, polyphenols, antioxidants. Dates ground up with water are still a whole food, and they have their nourishment as well as the fiber as well as the sweetness. I could have used maple syrup. That's still processed, but it's a lot better than cane sugar. And then I have some nut butter. I could have used almond, I could have used peanut. What I chose is something that I really like, and it's called Nutzo. Get it at Costco, get it online. It's not inexpensive, but you use little bits of these higher fat foods because, again, well, I don't count calories, but I do pay attention to nutrient density, and I'm not going to fill up on the things that are 120 calories for that much. I'd rather have a pound of broccoli. That would be 1.5 pounds of broccoli for those calories. But Nutzo is cashews, almonds, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, and then pumpkin seed, flaxseed, chia seed, and a tiny bit of Celtic salt. So I'm putting oats, almonds, cocoa, some mixed nuts, some dates together. We have some vanilla extract, and you can find my recipe for this again on nansimonson.com, and I will put it in the link if I can get it there. My art director gave me instructions, and I haven't done that yet, but if you can't find it, you'll find it on nansimonson.com, my website. You can go straight to my cooking channel that way too. You can find my book even that way. And then I'm going to put in some, well, that's funny. Look how pretty that is. I don't know why. Oh, I know, because I had just washed this spoon in hot water, dried it, and then put it in here, and it was warm enough to have melted some of the chocolate chips. These are vegan chocolate chips. What does that mean? Oh, dark chocolate, vegan, means no milk in it. This is not a milk chocolate, it's a dark chocolate. And we're going to use a tablespoon of this. So let me show you what I'm going to do. The liquid that will go into this is plant milk. I'm using soy milk because it's high in protein. Soy milk has as much, if not more, protein than a cup of cow's milk, without the estrogens, without the nasty ingredients that they feed these cows. And it's a plant food. Okay, what I did, and I wanted to show you this, if you're going to take the time to put together all of these ingredients, just the dry ingredients alone, with a little bit of baking soda, no, baking powder, and a little bit of salt, why not do it sort of factory style and fill up? I did 4. I could have done any number depending on how quickly I'm going to do this. But I did 4 because I have a friend coming over tomorrow to pick up some soup. She's had a death in the family and I'm making a big pot of soup for them, and I'm going to have this for her with cake that we're going to cook today. By then it'll be cooled and sealed, and this will be her Valentine's sweet. I'm going to cook it today in this. So I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to mix it up. Sorry. I love these little teeny whisks. I could have used a larger one, but the little ones kind of fit these better. I have the goal here of getting all of the powders mixed together. Baking soda, almond, oat, a little bit of salt, and cocoa. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to put it in this cup, and I'm going to add to it the plant milk, some vanilla, a tablespoon of the date paste, and was that it? Oh, and the nut butter. Add that. I'm going to mix this together. You know what I'm wondering? I'm thinking that, well, maybe it is. I was going to say, I'm thinking that this cup is too small. I made this for my birthday video, again, a little more than 1 year ago, and I thought it was this cup, and I still think it is. Okay. If it boils over, we'll know it wasn't, won't we? All right. This is going to take, and you've got to go right down to the bottom and make sure everything is moist. So I'm going to talk to you while it's cooking. And before I put my friends in, and I'm going to clean the edge. Okay. Look what I have here. Oops. Okay, can you see that? That's our cake. You're going to see what it's going to do. Oh, shoot. It's not too late. I'm going to stir in about half of these chocolate chips and get them mixed in to the cake. And then I'm going to sprinkle a couple on top because they look nice that way. See what I mean? All right. Just a scattering any way I want to. I have a 1200 watt microwave, and a minute works beautifully. If you have an older one, some of them are 900, some of them are 1000, you may end up going a minute 10 seconds. If you have a supersonic one, 1400 or something like that, you may want to go a little bit less. So now I'm going to do it in another way. I could have had all of these powders in these 1-cup mason jars. I decorated the top of that. Let it sit here. And I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Get a dry whisk, otherwise all the powders would stick. Again, mix, mix, mix. What I could have done is mix these all up in advance, and I could have them all in a mason jar. Cake's done. I'll get it in a minute. See, I can't turn it towards you because I can't work that way. There, yes I can. So these are going into the jar. These ingredients, remember, dry. And that's what you do with a recipe. I see some white still there in the bottom. Got to get that incorporated. All right. In most recipes, baking recipes, you add the wet ingredients to the dry. I'm going to give my wet a stir again. Add it to the dry. I think I'll use a spoon. And can you see? There. Kind of do a little bit of stirring as I go. Lift the bottom up. Okay. You want to treat yourself exquisitely. Consider another option for vanilla extract, and consider wild vanilla powder. This is wild vanilla powder, organic, from Madagascar. And what they do is they open those pods of vanilla. You've seen vanilla bean, skinny shriveled thing. And they scrape it. And that bag is filled with nothing but ground vanilla bean. The flavor is so good. Would it make a huge difference here? I don't think so. I made the one I made my husband and me as a tester with that. And the flavor was, it's hard to discern when you have all of these other flavors. But if you were doing a little latte and it was a nice light mixture of ingredients rather than heavy flavorings and ultra sweet, I think you'd really like that. You can get it on Amazon. I have no affiliation, and I said it's ridiculously expensive because that bag was $25, but use just a little bit. For this I would have used a half a teaspoon. Okay. We've mixed this. The other cake is done. So here I have a mason jar. You need to use a canning jar because they are made, if you're going to do glass, you want to make sure that it is not heat sensitive. But a mason jar, the kind you use for canning, is meant for heat, because when you are canning things, quite often you have it under pressure, and so it's meant for that. You know what? I still see, I hate to dig back in there again after all that fussing. Kind of handy to see the glass though. Who knows what was in my white one? But you know, none of that is that important. I'm making a very, very nice meal. Well, meal replacement or dessert. All right. This is going in for a minute. So did it overcook? No, look at this, everyone. Look, tell me that's not just gorgeous. Now, what is it going to taste like? I'm not going to, well, I was going to say I'm not going to eat it now. Maybe I'm lying to you. Maybe I'll try it. I'm digging in. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at that. You know what makes this especially good? Okay, now I'm going to eat the whole thing. No, I'm not. That's really good. By the way, if you use vanilla powder instead of vanilla, which is a teaspoon of vanilla, you want to replace that liquid. So put in an extra teaspoon maybe of the milk. Oh, if I had some ice cream, a little bit of ice cream to put on this, and what if I got totally carried away and went bonkers and ate the whole thing? Am I looking at 500 or 600 calories of pure processed food with all kinds of preservatives and emulsifiers and things that would wreck my gut? Because your microbiome, those healthy bugs that are there, hate these fake foods. It disrupts them. It encourages the growth of the bad bugs and discourages the growth of the healthy bugs that feed your body with short chain fatty acids. But if I went totally crazy and I ate this whole thing, I don't think I'd be hungry for a while, but I probably would be eating less than 250 calories. I'm going to have to add this up. I'm going to do that. I'll do that, and I'll post something about that. And wow, what a treat it would be. But as I said, my husband ate it, and I ate half of one of them, no, a quarter of one each. He had ice cream with it, just little bits of the chocolate with his ice cream. And we did that for 2 days. I think that's all I have to say. Let's look at the other one. Oh, you know what I did while I was talking, and you may have been there thinking, Nan, I forgot the chocolate chips. So this one wasn't the double one, and this one's going to my friend. Shoot. Now what I am going to do, this is really hard to hold. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, because it's very hot and there's no handle. I'm going to clean the inside of it, because what happens is it raises and then it shrinks a bit. Anyway, I'm going to clean the inside of it. I'll let it cool completely. These chocolate chips are melting like, oh, the chocolate chips are melting like my hands are. Put that in there. And look, in minutes, I've made 2 little cakes. I have the ingredients left for 2 more. What can I do with them? Seal them up in some mason jars like that until the day I want to add the liquid ingredients and throw it in the microwave for a quick dessert. Maybe for a friend who stops by for tea and we each get half of the cake. Why not? Or for kids when they come home from school. Put some nuts in there for some extra protein. Okay, or you can put these in baggies and then make them in a cup. Throw that into the cup. I am going to have a great day. I hope you are too. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for joining me. Please love yourself. Accept yourself where you are. Become determined to bring out the very best in yourself, and do it in the mode of lifestyle as medicine. De-stress, get plenty of sleep, embrace the community around you, or find some by reaching out and volunteering. Make sure that you're moving regularly and eat whole food, plant-based as often as possible. Every little bit of greens and vegetables and tubers and beans and grains and seeds and nuts that you eat instead of animal product, every little bit of that will make a difference. Bye.